Season 10 of Letterkenny is finally out here now. I did watch this one a few days ago because it came out Christmas Day in Canada, and on Hulu and like America and I guess everywhere else it came out on Boxing Day. And as many of you know, Letterkenny is one of my favorite shows of all time. I think that is a little bit obvious, and last year I reviewed season 9 in the snow, but it's kind of all melted, so I can't exactly do that this year. But anyway, I was super excited for this season. I've loved every single season and almost every single episode of the entire show. I mean, there's been 10 seasons. Sure, they only have 6 episodes per season, but I've loved almost every single one. So of course I was super excited, and I have to say, this season was even better than season 9. For the odd ones out there who don't know, Letterkenny basically tells the story of small town Canada, more specifically Ontario. It was originally based on Listowel, and since I'm from Ontario, Canada, it's pretty interesting because of how accurate the show is. It mainly focuses on the Hicks, the hockey players, and the Skids, as well as a bunch of other great characters, and this season really did a lot of them justice. I don't think, once again, it's one of the best ones, but then again, I can't really point out what my favorite season is overall. I bet if I watched it all again, I could, but there are just so many episodes that really stick with me, and this season especially is one episode that I think is one of the best of the past few seasons, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So as always, I think with almost all the seasons, it has 6 episodes, and I like them all here. It really goes for some jokes, and a lot of them work. I mean, there's some stuff in this one. One particular thing is at the start of episode 5 here, and you know, it's the McMurray, you know, so it's like that, and it's vulgar, I'll say that, but it's hilarious. It's hilarious as always. They really go for it, and for me, it really works here. The Skids are they're just as kind of weird and gross as ever, but they're so funny here, and their dynamic with the hockey players also is like added on to here. There's more of a, not relationship, but more of a connection between them, and I thought it was hilarious. It made for some amazing scenes to do with Chell and all these different things. What they call vidvoc here, which is basically TikTok, Riley Jonesy butt art, is hilarious, and for you, if you haven't seen the show, you'll be really confused, but if you have seen the season, then you'll know exactly what I was talking about, because all of that stuff is hilarious to me. Again, I liked all the episodes here. Again, the stuff with the dicks. Again, if you haven't seen the show, you'll have no idea what I'm saying, but that whole thing, I guess, basically episode, but the whole plot line there in one of the later episodes, maybe even the funniest thing in the entire season for me. You know, I'm mature, so I laugh at those jokes, and I think they might have been even at an all-time high in this season because they just go for it and it just continues. It goes on and on and on, and I feel like some people may not like that, but for me, all the humor landed here. There were rarely any moments where they made a joke and it didn't land for me. And, you know, when I watch Letterkenny, I don't watch it to have my mind blown of all these cool, like, story details and all stuff like that. Although I will say the cinematography here was actually improved a little bit. There are some rack focuses in this season now. Maybe there are some in other seasons, but I don't remember it exactly. And just overall, there's a few things they shoot with one specific character. You probably know how I'm talking about, which are pretty cool, and the added connection between this character and Wayne is pretty interesting if you know some behind the scenes stuff too. But my favorite episode of this season was episode 4, the one called Prostate, which you guys all know what that means and where that's going, and when I read the title I was like, oh, this is going to be good, and the entire episode really keeps up this certain energy, and that's what I love. Also the stuff with the coach, who looks great, by the way. I mean, that's a constant joke throughout the season. You know, I just got back from the gym. You can probably tell by my bod, because I just got back to the gym. You know, the owner of the gym, she said I'm there more than her, and that's crazy because you'd expect that the owner is there more than anybody else. So they keep up some certain jokes, and some people could get annoyed by that, but I feel like if you've made it 9 or 10 seasons into the show, then you're used to stuff like that. For me, it all really landed, but that episode 4 was just so good. It was just constantly hilarious. That always added a new layer to the joke of the prostate exam. Obviously, I won't go too into some of this stuff, not literally. Fuck. Just for those who haven't seen it, I won't spoil anything, obviously, when it comes to the plot and some of the stuff that has gone over through the other seasons with the relationships and stuff. That's basically the main things that carry over here are relationships from the past seasons, but for me, it all really worked. The fights are also really cool. That's something that I feel like the show just continues to improve upon, because I remember the first few seasons, the fighting was like, it was filmed fighting, you know, so you could kind of tell, but here it just gets better and better and better. Also, the stuff with the Hicks is just unbelievably funny once again when they get drunk in, I think, the final episode, and they're all messing up the names. I mean, it's hilarious. It's so funny, and when they have arguments over who has the bigger hick house, stuff like that. For me, basically everything in this season worked. There maybe were a few times where I was like, okay, maybe we could progress the what you would consider main plot line forward a little bit, but when I go into Letterkenny, I don't really go into it expecting some, you know, as I said before, some grand story or whatever. I just go to watch it to sit down, relax, and laugh my ass off. That is what this season gave me. I loved this season once again. I will definitely be watching it over and over again, and I feel like this is one of the stronger ones of the past few seasons, even though I've liked them all. I've liked every single season of Letterkenny. I've loved every single season of Letterkenny. I've talked about it. It's one of my favorite shows of all time, in the top 10 for sure. This season, though, was amazing. Unfortunately, I couldn't review it in the snow this year, but I highly recommend it to those who've seen all the other seasons up to this point. And I know a few people that agree with me that this one is definitely better than the last one. I know not everybody loved the last one, but I still did. And I'm going to give season 10 of Letterkenny a 4.5 out of 5. Again, I don't know how I would rank the seasons, but this one was really strong. Every single episode was great. I can't think of many moments in this season where stuff fell flat, and even if I did, they would be spoilers, so I wouldn't actually say them. But I want to know what you guys thought of it down below. What was your favorite kind of running joke through the whole thing? Because there are a few jokes with the coach or the Hicks or hockey players or whatever. I mean, the stuff with the hockey players is so funny in this season. They really kind of took a step forward even more, and you know, I have a Jonesy shirt right there. I have this Dairy Funko Pop. I also have a Letterkenny hat and cozy, which you can see in last year's video of season 9, of that review. But once again, thank y'all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out. Give your balls a tug.